Hello, hi, how are ya? Today we are out at the United States Air Force Museum. It's been a little while since I've been here. They're doing some construction over here to my left, expanding the parking lot from the looks of it, and putting in this like turnaround thing over there, which probably means they're going to put some sort of monument or statue. But we're going to go in and just have a look around because it's been a while since I've been here. It's like the third video I ever did. And also, as you can see, I do have a mask on because I looked up ahead of time that they are required to go in. The museum reopened July 1st, it's the 6th. They're going by CDC guidelines, which means you have to wear a mask inside the facilities, even though it is an enormous museum. It's 4 airplane hangars, so, but you still have to wear a mask. Just remember that. Typically you'd enter in through these doors, but I'm assuming because of what's going on, they have you entering down this way to keep a better flow of things. That way you're not, you know, coming into contact with too many people on the entrance and exit. But it also could just be this is the new entrance. I don't know, I haven't been here in a long time. So these are information desks that you'll be routed to when you first enter the museum, and they'll tell you anything you need to know about the museum. You can sign up for a membership, and you'll also get a map that I believe you have to pay for. I think they said it was like $5 or it's included in your membership. But yeah, now we enter in through the early years, which is the beginning of aviation with the Wright brothers, through right before the First World War, I believe, or ending with the First World War. Just to give a little like scope of the size of this place, I'm in the corner and I can't even see the other side, mainly because there's things in the way, like the 1909 military flyer right here, the Wright brothers design. But it's just that, you know, there's a blimp up there, a Zeppelin. That's how large this facility is, and this is just one building of 4, so just keep that in mind. Now, I have been here multiple times before, so I'm not going to be stopping as much. I'm just going to give you an overview of some things. There are a couple new things that I didn't film the last time I was here, and a couple new things that I haven't seen since the last time I was here that were added. Including the entire Cold War building has been completely rearranged with mostly the same aircraft. I'll give you just a brief overview to help you plan trips. If you do plan on coming here, you will need a good chunk of the day. They open at 9 a.m. every day and close at 5 p.m. It's completely free, unless you want to donate to the museum. But you will need a good chunk of the day if you are planning on coming. And you haven't been here before, because it is a large facility. And as far as social distancing goes, there's other people here, like there's somebody back over there, but it's very hard, in my opinion, to be next to somebody in this facility unless you make an attempt to, because like I said before, like there's a lot of room back here, there's a lot of room in the aisleways walking through. So I don't feel unsafe in here. So if you have that qualm, just know that there is a lot of open area that you can get away from people if you have to. Before you go into the World War II facility, there is like a small art gallery here. There's some giant quilt for the Air Force and some paintings. And they do have markers on the ground telling you to stand a certain distance apart. Into World War II, which starts in the Pacific, obviously, where the Americans joined in the war after Pearl Harbor. One thing I do feel inclined to share is it's not just American aircrafts that are here as well. There are aircrafts from other nations. For instance, this Japanese fighter plane, which I don't see the thing that tells you what it is. It's probably around the other side. I should have known that it was the Zero, and all the war films that I've seen, that's what they reference. Funny enough, I didn't realize Mitsubishi, which is a Japanese car and motorcycle company, that would make sense that they would design airplanes during the war. Pretty interesting. But there are other aircrafts here, obviously, because it is depicting that moment in time. So, like I said, this is a Japanese plane, and you can actually see here on the wing, or I guess the body of it, there is Japanese writing. There's an announcement going on right now as well that you can't hear because I'm talking, but it's saying the reminders to wear your mask, stay 6 feet apart, and sanitize where you can and when you can. I'll keep you updated. I'll let you know, see how often they do that, because that is important. These movies set up and the chairs to watch them, but they don't have any sanitation wipe stands or Purell or anything like that posted around near it, but they do have people coming around to clean them every now and then. So just keep that in mind if you're here, that somebody might not have cleaned it in between uses. So I would bring your own Purell or hand wipes if you're feeling unsafe. Something that definitely wasn't here the last time I was here, they have the Memphis Belle over here, an entire exhibit. Somebody currently working on the inside of it. I'm not quite sure what they're doing, but this is the actual plane, the Memphis Belle. Biggest reasons why it's considered famous is it flew 25 missions throughout Europe. There's a reason why this is such a famous aircraft. It's all talked about through this section. How many missions it flew, how many targets it took down, and just its absolute resilience. That's how America was able to help push the war efforts to victory over Nazi Germany. I know I showed this the last time I was here as well, but something that I think is really cool is showing how Walt Disney got involved. Here's some of the Disney patches from squadrons that he created, that they would have been worn on jackets of pilots, as well as I think also painted on their planes to symbolize that that was that squadron. So something that might get a little confusing, when you exit the World War II section, don't keep walking straight ahead, because that will lead you to the gift shop and then the entrance and the exit. Turn left back through the art gallery through here, and then you'll see there's a tunnel straight ahead, and that'll lead you to the next sections of the Korea and Southeast Asia wars, Cold War, and then the last hangar of like space exploration, as well as presidential stuff. Looks like you cannot currently go up into this aircraft, which you used to be able to. This is one of the things that the guy at the front said was new to the museum, entirely blacked out. I think it's, I don't remember the name, Sikorsky CH3 II, something like that, from Vietnam War. I don't know much about it, but this was used, obviously, as all the other aircrafts were, for war, as well as the Jolly Green, Sikorsky CH3 II, massive helicopter. As you enter through the section to go into the Cold War hangar, you pass by this display of all of these different model aircrafts, as well as, I believe this is depicting Berlin. Yeah. The cleanup effort after World War II. Blacked out this entire hangar to just add to the theming, and I know it doesn't really come through as clear. Hold on. Big ol' announcement just happened. I know you can't really tell on the camera looking down that way. You get a little bit better of a sense of like what the eye is seeing. That's a little bit closer to what I'm seeing. A little bit, something like that. I just had to take a moment because I forgot. I was like, why did it get so dark? I'm under the wing of a stealth bomber behind me. That just really threw me through a loop. This is actual pieces of the Berlin Wall. I always thought it was interesting to to see the stark contrast of the sides and how there's nothing on the east side because you were oppressed. You would get arrested for criticizing your government. And then the west side, you were free to express yourself and create however you pleased. And this tells you a little bit about the history of the wall and how it collapsed in 1989 after 28 years of separating East and West Berlin. It's amazing how these colors still stand through. Little update. I haven't heard another announcement about social distancing since the last one, which was about around an hour ago. I'm in the back section of Cold War, and then Gulf War starts to get it into a little bit more over that way. But there's no one around me. This isn't in use right now. You can't go in it. But if you just need to come and be away, this is the best sort of thing. There's no one around. I feel safe. There have been a couple times when I felt a little close to people, but overall, I would say that this is not a bad place to come to spend a little bit of time with your family, a little bit about history, and just, you know, to get outside and do something to resume normal life. Take that with what you will, but I think this would be a good little day trip for people to come and experience something that you might not have seen before. For quite literally less than a minute, roughly, after I finished that last clip, they just came in and did the announcement that they did earlier of maintaining social distancing, make sure you're following paths and all of that stuff. So about an hour. As far as the wearing the mask goes in here, it's fairly well ventilated. This is a tri-blend cotton mask. Well, tri-blend meaning it's cotton, polyester, and rayon. Got a little bit of moisture in it, but I'm comfy. It's not that bad. I would suggest, this is from Homage, but I would suggest, you know, something that you're gonna be comfortable in all day, because this isn't something that you're gonna be able to just do in a couple hours unless you've done it multiple times and you're only coming to see like new things. This is something that if you're planning on reading everything and seeing everything, it will take you like 4 or 5 hours. I think they said the cafe was closed, but I'm not 100% positive. If you are coming, maybe you come for the morning, go and do a couple hangars, go out to lunch, and then finish the rest, because the museum is free, so you can obviously come back later if you had to or wanted to. I'm heading toward the Space Gallery, which is always really cool, and there's also some presidential aircrafts as well. And this is the Valkyrie Cafe, which obviously you can see now is completely closed. None of the tables are out. It's roped off. They do still have their menu up, but they don't have any prices listed. All their machines are unplugged. So I would say if you are planning a day here, I would split it and go get food somewhere else, because I don't believe you can bring any outside food or water into the museum, unfortunately. But it makes sense because, you know, don't want you damaging any of these. Just look at this. Replica of a space shuttle right here in front of us. This is the front of the Titan rocket. I can't even explain to you how massive this is. The name doesn't do it justice. Well, I guess it does because Titan, but this thing is enormous. And then this satellite isn't too shabby itself, but this was specifically a defense support program early warning satellite. This was up in space. Crazy. We're now entering into the presidential gallery, and like I said before, obviously we cannot currently go up into the planes, but this is FDR. This was his Air Force One at the time, which I believe he called it, or they called it, the Sacred Cow, if I saw that correctly. But yeah, this was his presidential plane. Here is the Independence, which was the plane of Harry Truman, Here's the Columbine III, which was Eisenhower's presidential plane. The wear and rust on that, but you can tell, obviously it was flown. But just how much bigger that is as well compared to Truman's and then FDR's over there. This was the plane of John F. Kennedy. And you can see it's the first one that really stepped up operations of Air Force One. Just the sheer scale of this compared to the last ones. Like this was the one right before it. And it's no plane to scoff at. It is still a giant aircraft. But this is more reminiscent of modern planes today. Now, something eerie about this aircraft that I wish I could get through it to show you, but obviously with everything going on, I cannot. The back section right in here, you'll see there's part of the carpet that was cut out, as well as some scarring on the actual interior and some cuts in the interior. And that was actually where they brought in his casket when he was assassinated in Dallas, I believe. And they loaded him onto the back of his aircraft and took off back for Washington, right through that door right there. As I'm leaving the museum now, something else worth noting: everything that you're walking on for the most part will be hard concrete, so be prepared and wear the appropriate shoes for that. You'll walk through the gift shop, which has kids stuff on one side and some apparel and other memorabilia like prints and books to the other side, and some mugs and stuff. I'm not going to touch anything that I don't intend to buy though. This shirt is very funny. And that's going to do it from the United States Air Force Museum. As I exit, I can remove this as I'm walking away back to my car. Fun day. For those of you looking to come out, remember, you'll need to bring a mask. You'll need to adhere to social distancing, CDC guideline policies. But that's going to be it for today's video. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up, ring the bell. We'll get all notifications for when I post. And until the next one, guys, thank you. And I'll see you in the next one.